I was 7 months pregnant, surrounded by pink balloons, and the soft murmur of laughter when my fiancé stood up to make a toast. I thought he was about to say something sweet about our journey together. Instead, he pulled out a letter, one he claimed I wrote, confessing to cheating. Every eye turned to me. It was all fake, a lie. And as my world shattered, he smiled and walked out. He thought he'd won. But months later, no one stood by him. Not anymore. They say you can tell everything about a person by how they act when you're most vulnerable. Well, I guess I just learned that the hard way, wearing a stretchy pink maternity dress, holding a plate of mini cupcakes, and blinking back tears while a room full of people stared like they were waiting for a punchline. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The day had started like something out of a cheesy Pinterest board. I was 7 months pregnant, glowing, people said. But honestly, I felt more like a hot air balloon with ankles. My best friend Jade had gone all out planning the baby shower. Pastel streamers, pink lemonade in mason jars, a diaper cake that was almost too pretty to take apart. Everyone I loved was there. Or so I thought. And then there was Jason, my fiancé, the man I met 3 years ago at a 4th of July barbecue when he complimented my playlist and spent the whole evening making me laugh. He had this charisma, like the kind that makes you believe you're lucky just to be chosen. I fell hard and fast. We moved in together after 6 months. When I found out I was pregnant, it wasn't planned, but we adjusted. Or at least, I thought we did. That morning, Jason had kissed my forehead and told me I looked beautiful, helped me zip up my dress, said he couldn't wait to see the look on my face when I opened his surprise. He said it with a smirk I didn't quite clock at the time. God, I wish I had. The shower was perfect for a while. People were laughing, taking selfies with the flower wall, loading up on cake pops. I was so happy, maybe a little too happy. Because when Jason stood up with that folded paper in his hand and said, "Before we open gifts, I just want to read something my fiancé wrote," I didn't think twice. I smiled. I trusted him. And then he started reading. To the baby I never meant to carry, and the man I never really loved. He paused for dramatic effect. A few people laughed awkwardly, clearly thinking it was some edgy joke. But not me. My whole body froze. I've been lying to you for months. The truth is, I slept with someone else. You probably already know who. I don't deserve this baby, and I definitely don't deserve you. I'm sorry. He cleared his throat, then added with a smirk, "Not really." I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. I couldn't move. Around me, the room shifted. You know that feeling when you're underwater and sound warps into this weird, hollow echo? That's what it felt like. I saw Jade's hand fly to her mouth. My cousin Lindsay gasped. My mom stood up like she might faint, or fight, maybe both. I heard someone whisper, "Wait, did she really write that?" But I didn't. I would never. Jason folded the paper neatly, like it wasn't a verbal grenade he just detonated in the middle of my baby shower. He set it down on the dessert table next to the cupcakes and said, "So yeah, I'm out. Good luck with the baby." And then he walked out, just like that. There was this beat of stunned silence. Nobody moved. Nobody knew what to do. And me? I just stood there, one hand on my belly, the other clutching a pink plastic cup filled with melted ice. I didn't cry. Not yet. I think my brain hadn't caught up to what was happening. Or maybe I was just too stunned to react. Like, what kind of person fakes a cheating confession you never wrote and then drops it in front of your entire family and friends like a party favor? Jade rushed over to me, eyes wide with horror. "Tell me this is a sick joke," she said. I shook my head, slowly, mechanically. I didn't write that. I swear on everything. I don't even know what he's talking about. That's when the whispers started, the speculation. I could hear someone say, "Wait, who would she even have cheated with?" And another person, my friend Casey, murmured, "Maybe he found something on her phone?" I felt my face flush, not just from shame, from fury. He didn't just humiliate me, he planted a lie, and then left me there to rot in it. Within minutes, the baby shower unraveled like a cheap ribbon, balloons still bobbing in the corners, while my entire life deflated in front of everyone. Jade started ushering people out. Bless her, trying to salvage whatever shred of dignity I had left. I just stood there, numb, while someone, maybe my aunt, offered to box up the leftover cake. It didn't hit me until I was in the bathroom, gripping the porcelain sink, that Jason hadn't just embarrassed me, he'd framed me. Deliberately, publicly, and with a smile on his face. That's when I remembered the smirk earlier. the surprise he'd teased me about. I thought he was being sweet. Turns out I was the only one not in on the joke. I opened my phone with shaking fingers, and my notifications were already blowing up. Group texts from family, DMs from party guests, and then I saw a Reddit post from a throwaway account called Just Telling My Truth _1986. It was a long rant from Jason about how I had emotionally abused him for years, how he found messages that confirmed the affair, and how he chose to walk away with dignity. I read it 3 times, mouth open, heart thudding. He made himself the victim. He painted me as some manipulative, cheating monster, and the worst part? The post was blowing up. Hundreds of comments, sympathy, people praising him for staying calm and choosing peace. I nearly screamed. But instead, I took a screenshot. He didn't stop there. Jay texted me a few hours later with a screenshot from Facebook. Jason had posted the same letter, yes, the fake letter, on his timeline with the caption, "The truth always comes out. Some of us just take longer to see it." My cousin Lindsay called and said her boyfriend had seen Jason at a bar the night before, bragging about how he was done playing house and had a new girl lined up anyway. It wasn't just a breakup. It was a campaign, a fully orchestrated, meticulously timed, calculated smear. And I was still trying to process it all with swollen ankles and a baby kicking me like she could sense my rage. That night, I couldn't sleep. I laid on Jade's pull-out couch, staring at the ceiling fan spinning too fast, replaying every conversation I'd ever had with Jason. Every time he told me he loved me. Every touch. Every moment that I thought was real. And suddenly, a memory snapped into focus. 2 weeks earlier, I caught him on his laptop with an email thread open. He slammed it shut too quickly. Said it was work stuff. But now, I remembered the subject line. Consulting, script idea, event confrontation. I sat up straight, heart pounding. Jason scripted this. He planned this. And if he thought I was going to crawl away quietly, humiliated, and destroyed, he didn't know me at all. Something snapped in me that night on Jade's couch. Maybe it was the pregnancy hormones. Or maybe it was the sheer audacity of Jason thinking he could ruin me and still walk away looking like the good guy. I wasn't just heartbroken, I was furious. So I did what any woman with a brain, a broken heart, and high-speed Wi-Fi would do. I started digging. My old laptop, the one Jason never touched because he said the keyboard was too small. I opened my iCloud messages, synced my apps, and sure enough, backups of everything. Photos, voice memos, screenshots, and the text thread I had forgotten about. 2 months ago, Jason had accidentally left his phone connected to our shared iPad, and a few texts from someone saved as M popped up. When I asked, he brushed it off, said it was a cousin. I didn't push, because I was pregnant and exhausted, and honestly, I wanted to believe him. But now, I opened that backup thread and scrolled. It wasn't a cousin. It was a girl named Melissa, and the texts were explicit, not just flirty, full-blown relationship-level messages, dates, complaints about how hard it is being with someone so emotional, aka me, pregnant and doing everything, promises to come clean soon. And then I saw a text dated 5 days before the baby shower. I'll handle it this weekend. She won't see it coming. Once it's done, we're free. I stared at the screen so long my eyes went dry. He wasn't just trying to hurt me. He was trying to erase me, turn me into the villain so he could slide out clean and into someone else's bed without the guilt, without the mess, without a single consequence. Too bad for him I kept receipts. I didn't post anything that night. I wanted to, so badly. I wanted to scream the truth into the void of the internet like he did. But I took a deep breath and reminded myself strategic, not emotional. So I drafted my own post. I included screenshots. I included dates. I included the photo of that script consultation email. And most damning of all, I posted a side-by-side, the fake letter he read, and the literal audio recording from a voice memo he didn't know I had me reading affirmations into my phone one night when I was anxious. It was time-stamped. The voice was calm, loving, loyal, nothing like the monster he described. I didn't tag him. I didn't need to. People figured it out fast. By the time the sun came up, my post had exploded. I woke up to over 3,000 notifications and texts from people I hadn't heard from in years. The kind of texts that start with OMG, is this about Jason? Followed by things like, I knew something was off about him and girl. I have tea. The shift was immediate and delicious. People started reposting my receipts, the text messages, the script email. A few even pointed out that parts of Jason's letter were plagiarized from Reddit posts like copy-pasted lines word for word. Real, original, Shakespeare. His little army of defenders started to vanish. The comments under his Facebook post went from, "You deserve better," to "So you just lied?" And wow, manipulating a pregnant woman? New low. But the real icing on the petty cake? Melissa, the girl from the texts, DM'd me. Yeah, I know. She opened with, "I had no idea you were pregnant. I am so sorry." My first instinct was to ignore her, or send a vomit emoji, or both. But something told me to hear her out. And what she said? Apparently Jason had told her that I was just a crazy ex he couldn't shake, that I was pretending to be pregnant for attention, and that he was stuck in a toxic situation. That's right. He wasn't just lying, he was rewriting my entire reality. Melissa and I ended up on the phone that afternoon. It was weird, awkward, but surprisingly validating. She didn't know about the baby shower. She hadn't seen the Reddit post. He'd told her we'd broken up months ago. When I told her everything, including how he had publicly humiliated me and staged that whole letter, she went silent. Then she said, "He told me you cheated on him while he was recovering from surgery." What surgery? Spoiler, there was no surgery. Just a minor dental cleaning he milked for sympathy. I thanked her for telling me the truth. She thanked me for exposing his lies. And just like that, his carefully crafted house of cards started collapsing. That night, I got a call from his mom. Yep, Jason's mother. She sounded broken, apologetic. She told me she had no idea what he'd done, that she'd been under the impression I left him and was hiding the baby out of spite. He'd even told his own family that I might not be sure who the father was. I nearly dropped the phone. His mom cried. I didn't. I couldn't. I'd cried all my tears already. I just said, "Your son tried to ruin my life. I'm done letting him." So after being thoroughly exposed, online, offline, everywhere in between, Jason did what all toxic men do when their image implodes. He launched the world's saddest apology tour. First came the Notes app screenshot, posted to his Instagram story with a black background and the word reflection in lowercase, like he was a moody indie singer-songwriter. I want to acknowledge the pain I've caused. I was acting out of hurt and confusion. None of what I did was okay. I'm deeply sorry. Please respect my privacy as I work on myself. No mention of me by name. No acknowledgement that I was pregnant. Just vague guilt soup sprinkled with buzzwords like accountability and healing. Then came the follow-up, a TikTok, because, of course, featuring soft piano music and a slideshow of blurry beach photos, captions fading in and out. We all make mistakes. Growth isn't linear. Sometimes we hurt the ones we love the most. In the comments, he wrote, "No hate, please. I'm already hurting." Oh, you're hurting? The same man who weaponized a fake letter to accuse his pregnant fiancé of cheating in front of her family and friends. Who fabricated an entire Reddit persona to paint himself as the victim? Who told another woman I was faking my pregnancy for clout? Yeah, okay. But here's where it gets wild. It didn't work. For once, the internet actually called out the BS hard. Comment after comment dragged him. This isn't growth. It's damage control. Apologizing without naming the person you hurt is cowardice. You're not a misunderstood poet. You're just manipulative. Even Melissa, yes. That Melissa posted a TikTok of her own, subtly subtweeting him, without using his name. She said, "Funny how some men only apologize once they lose their backup plan." It went viral. And then, the cherry on top? Jason tried to DM me, twice. The first message just said, "Can we talk? I miss us." The second? "I'm getting help. I finally realize how much I hurt you. Please don't shut me out forever." I didn't respond. Not because I didn't want to. Trust me, the temptation to send back a fire-breathing voice note was strong. But I remembered the baby growing inside me, her tiny kicks reminding me who I was doing all of this for. And I decided silence would be the loudest answer of all. But privately, I started planning my own exit legally. I contacted a lawyer. I got my name removed from the lease. I moved in with Jade temporarily. And I booked an appointment with a therapist who specialized in pregnancy trauma. Because I wasn't just recovering from heartbreak, I was recovering from a smear campaign while 7 months pregnant. And I refused to let my daughter's first story be one where her mom was broken by a man like Jason. You know that moment in a movie where the heartbroken heroine gets her power back? Cue the makeover montage, the dramatic walk in slow-mo, and the soundtrack swelling? Yeah, this wasn't exactly that. There was no glitter or glam. Just me, 31 weeks pregnant, in maternity leggings and a hoodie that said tired. But like glowing. But emotionally, I was rising. It started with a message from someone unexpected, a podcaster. One of those women-led, true story, deep dive podcasts that gets thousands of downloads a week. She'd seen my viral post and reached out asking if I'd be willing to share my side on air. Not a messy takedown, she promised. Something real, honest, empowering. At first I hesitated. Did I really want to reopen everything? Rehash the pain? But then I remembered the fake letter, the Reddit lies. The way Jason got his version of the story out first. I said yes. We recorded it 2 days later. I showed up with my bump, my tea, my screenshots, and my story. And I told the truth. All of it. The love, the blind spots, the manipulation, the betrayal. And the moment, at my own baby shower, when the man I planned to marry tried to dismantle me in front of everyone I loved and lost. I was nervous it would come off too raw. Too much. But when the episode dropped, the response floored me. Women messaged from everywhere, Chicago, Dallas, Toronto, Sydney, saying they'd been through similar things. That hearing me speak made them feel less alone, less crazy. One woman wrote, "I left my gaslighting ex today because of your story." I sobbed. Happy tears this time. Empowered tears. Jason tried to twist my life into a scandal, but I turned it into a story that set people free. Even his mom reached out again after hearing it. This time, not crying but furious. She said, "I raised him better than this. You didn't deserve any of it." She offered to send me anything I needed for the baby. I politely declined but thanked her for saying what Jason never had. Jade and I spent that weekend assembling the crib she'd bought for me. Melissa even Venmo'd me $100 with a note that said, "Baby Karma Fund." I used it to buy a little onesie that read, "Born of Fire, Raised with Love." My therapist said I was processing faster than most. I think it's because I never had the luxury of wallowing. I had to get strong for her. Because while Jason was out there trying to rebrand himself as some misunderstood artist, I was building something real. A home, a plan, a future. Just when I thought I'd finally reached the eye of the storm, peaceful, still, rebuilding Jason reminded me who he really was. It was a Thursday afternoon. I was on the phone with my OB scheduling a prenatal checkup, feet up on Jade's coffee table, when my email pinged with a subject line that nearly made me drop the phone. Urgent, parental rights inquiry. At first, I thought it was spam. But when I opened it, nope, it was real. Jason had filed paperwork for paternity, not custody, yet, but a formal petition to establish legal fatherhood of my unborn child. A child he denied, humiliated, and then tried to erase from his life until it became inconvenient for him to be the villain. I sat there, stunned. Not crying, just cold. The man who told another woman I was faking the pregnancy was now trying to claim legal rights. The man who framed me for cheating, slandered me online, and ghosted every doctor's appointment. And now he wanted to show up in a courtroom as a concerned father? No, absolutely not. I forwarded the email to my lawyer immediately. She responded within 10 minutes with a plan. She was calm. I wasn't. I was spiraling. What if the court believed him? What if he actually got some kind of custody? What if this baby had to grow up sharing weekends with a man who staged a psychological takedown of her mother in front of a crowd? I pressed a hand to my stomach. She kicked, hard, and something shifted in me. Again, I wasn't afraid anymore. I was ready to fight. Because this wasn't about Jason and me anymore. This was about the little girl growing inside me. The one who deserved better than a father, who used her existence as a chess move. So I made a list again, because when things fall apart, I organize. Timeline of Jason's behavior, from the fake letter to the social media posts, screenshots and transcripts of the texts with Melissa character witnesses, Jade, my doctor, even his own mother. A letter to the judge, written in my voice, not legalese, about why my child deserved safety, not shared weekends filled with manipulation. I wasn't trying to keep him away out of spite. I was trying to protect her from a man who proved publicly that control mattered more to him than love. And just when I thought I'd seen every side of him, Jason texted me, not with an apology, not with concern, but with a link to a video, a vlog on his new YouTube channel, entitled, "My Side of the Story, Why I Had to Walk Away." He was monetizing our breakup, my pregnancy, my trauma. I didn't watch it, but Jade did. She said it was full of lies, crocodile tears. Phrases like, "I wasn't perfect, but neither was she, and men's mental health matters too." Comments were turned off, of course. And that's when I knew. Jason didn't want to be a father. He wanted an audience. The day of the hearing felt like something out of a surreal dream. I wore a soft navy dress that hugged my baby bump and made me feel strong, not swollen. Jade came with me, holding my hand the entire Uber ride downtown. I don't remember the music playing in the car, but I remember my palms were sweaty. My heart wouldn't stop racing. This wasn't just paperwork. This was me standing in front of a judge, pregnant and exhausted, telling the truth while the man who tried to erase me sat 10 feet away, pretending he cared. Jason walked in wearing a button-up shirt I bought him last Christmas. His hair was neatly styled, his expression solemn. He looked like someone auditioning for the role of devastated but misunderstood dad. It made me sick. We didn't speak, didn't even make eye contact, but I could feel his energy buzzing. Performative, like he thought this was still a game. My lawyer started by walking through the basics. We were never married. He hadn't attended a single OB appointment. He hadn't contributed a single cent to medical bills or baby expenses. He publicly discredited the pregnancy. And he had attempted to weaponize a fabricated narrative against me, online and at a major life event. Then she handed the judge a folder. Inside were all the receipts, screenshots, audio, the Reddit post, a written statement from Melissa, even a text from Jason's own mother, verifying that he told her I might be faking the pregnancy. Jason's lawyer, some smarmy dude with a slick tie and crocodile smile, tried to pivot, said Jason had made mistakes out of fear and regretted deeply how things were handled, claimed he was now committed to being involved for the child's sake, and Jason, he had the audacity to get up and say, "I know I messed up, but I love my daughter. I want to be there for her." I felt my breath catch. My daughter. The words rang so hollow coming from him. He hadn't once said her name, hadn't once asked about her health. He didn't know her. I stood up slowly when it was my turn to speak, and I told the truth. I told the judge about the party, the letter, the smear campaign, the manipulation, the way Jason used my pregnancy as a storyline for sympathy instead of stepping up as a partner. I read a portion of the letter I'd written weeks earlier in the middle of the night, hands on my belly, tears in my eyes. This child is not a prop in his redemption arc. She is not an accessory to his image. She is a human being, and she deserves better than a man who only shows up when the cameras are on. When I finished, the courtroom was silent. The judge looked between us, then said he'd be granting a temporary no-contact order until the baby was born, at which point paternity could be formally established through testing. From there, the court would determine custody, not based on words or vibes or Instagram videos, but based on evidence. Jason looked stunned, like he truly believed that a courtroom would buy the same script he fed the internet. After the ruling, he rushed over like he might say something: plead, explain, perform. But Jade stepped between us, just placed her hand on his chest and said, "Not today." We walked out without looking back. And in that moment, I felt the cord between us, everything toxic, false, manipulative, finally snap. I went into labor on a rainy Tuesday morning, 2 weeks early, and completely unprepared. I'd just finished folding the tiniest pair of socks I'd ever seen when I felt the first cramp. At first, I thought it was Braxton Hicks, wishful thinking. Then the second wave hit, deeper and sharper. My whole body tightened like a pulled rubber band. By the time Jade grabbed the hospital bag, thank God for my over-preparing self, I could barely speak through the contractions. We drove in silence, windshield wipers squeaking, my hands gripping the seatbelt like a lifeline. It didn't feel real until I saw the hospital sign. And then it hit me all at once. I'm about to meet her. This tiny human I've protected, talked to, cried with. The one who kicked every time I doubted myself. Who stayed with me through every heartbreak, every panic attack, every betrayal. The nurses were angels. One of them had read my podcast story and whispered, "You're stronger than most people I've ever met." I burst into tears right there in triage. Labor was a blur. A messy, painful, wild blur. I screamed. I sobbed. I begged for sleep, for relief, for time to rewind. And then, she was here. They placed her on my chest, and everything stopped. The buzzing, the pain, the noise in my head, it all fell away. She looked up at me, barely opening her eyes, and I swear she knew me. Like she recognized my voice, my heartbeat, like she was saying, "We made it." And in that moment, I wasn't thinking about Jason, or the party, or the fake letter, or the courtroom, or the headlines. I was thinking about her, about the way her fingers curled around mine, the warmth of her skin, the way she blinked once, slow and deliberate, before resting against my heart like she'd been there all along. I whispered her name. The name I'd chosen months ago, and never told anyone, not even Jade. It was mine. Ours. Sacred. Lena Grace. "Hi, baby girl," I said, my voice cracking. "I'm your mama, and I promise you will never doubt how deeply you are loved." Jade snapped a photo me, holding Lena, tear-streaked and radiant and ruined in the best way. I later posted it with no caption. Just that image. The internet went quiet. No drama, no shade, no revenge. Just a woman who survived everything meant to break her and chose to begin again.